Uber Eats Frontline edition. We are just outside the zone where it starts to get really dangerous. Then already the Russians just down that road. But here, thanks to these robots, the guys can just load them up and then send the machine where none of us has to go. Right, so far so good. We've shown you these drones already in training a couple of times, but today is actually the first time we've been able to get access to show you them in real war. We're here in a workshop, and as you can see, the drone behind me already doesn't look like in the training. It's been modified with plates. It looks used. It already looks ramped up, and that is because it drives, the guys say, almost every night to different positions, to mortar positions, to infantry positions, to wherever is needed to bring food, to bring ammunition, to evacuate the wounded. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to load them up, we're going to bring them to the starting point, and then we're going to send them out into the night. The mission is going to take, the guy said, up to 5 hours, depending on the conditions, depending if they encounter any problems. Could be FPVs, could be mines. It's been raining crazy the past days. So we're going to see if all this hype that has been made about ground drones, if it actually lives up, how they actually work, how easy or how difficult it is to use them. I'm actually quite excited. So that's it. Let's get going. In May 24, Russia launched a second offensive on the city and oblast of Kharkiv after the initial liberation by Ukraine in 2022. The Khartia Brigade was one of those responsible for halting the Russian advance. At that time, we reported from the foremost infantry positions, but since then, the line of contact has barely moved. While that's good for Ukraine, it also means that in 1 year's time, the enemy has learned the topography well. The drone is called TarGun. It's a Ukrainian production. At 10 kilometers per hour on off-roads, the battery lasts well over 6 hours. 2 drones are going off today, one to the farthest most infantry position, the zero line. The other is resupplying a mortar unit in a different sector. Right, the guys are loading up the drone. We are just outside the zone where it starts to get really dangerous. As you can see, we're still in normal clothes, no armor, no medkit. If you go down that road in 3-4 kilometers, a bit less even, first Russian drones on the optic fiber cables will start flying. Then you'll have our guys standing there, artillery, mortar guys, infantry and everything else. Then already the Russians just down that road. But here, thanks to these robots, the guys can just, in peace and calm and quiet, load them up and then send the machine where none of us has to go. And about 4 or 5 hours, it will reach the guys. Коли він повністю заражений, це їжа і вода, скажімо, для скільки людей, для скільки времени?
Це дуже правильно.
That's a very good question. Depends on the size of the position. Our goal is to minimize the number of trips to each position. So if we take an average size position with a set number of personnel, then one delivery can supply them with food and water for about a week to 10 days. Larger positions will obviously require more trips. In base configuration, 200 kilograms. With the trailer, half a ton. Again, there are always more tasks than capacity. So often the unit will come back, reload, and head out again, as long as time, daylight, and range permit. It can do 2 to 3 missions per day to the same zone.
Alright, and now here it's all happening. It's the responsibility of these 2 guys, plus the so-called Sturman, so a third guy who helps the pilots in communication and solving questions and taking care of everything outside, because they have to be concentrated for hours. And when you look at the screens, you can see why you want to avoid a human being. That the guy on the left, the pilot, is going to infantry positions, the one on the right to mortar positions, and on the left screen he's already in the red zone, as they call it, or in the shit. You can see on the road burnt vehicles. We saw another burnt robotic system, burnt armored vehicles, and you understand how dangerous it is. It's the same reason why they only do this in the night, because even during the day the chance that a robot like that will get hit is pretty high. There's no light on the robot. It's just a thermal vision camera and these 2 guys here in the basement. Khartia is one of the brigades at the forefront of this technological race. They were the first in the world to launch a successful, full-blown assault on a Russian position using only drones, both land and airborne in harmony.
It's the same path we went through with FPVs, with Mavics, with Vampires. In fact, every FPV pilot remembers the first time he got some airframe straight from the factory and had to do something with it just to make it fly. Right now, with UGVs, it's the same story. You can buy something nearly ready to use, but you'll still have to make a lot of upgrades, a lot of changes, before it can perform in combat. We're moving in a slightly different direction. We take a basic, solid, reliable, simple, and inexpensive platform, the TarGun 3K, and on that basis, we build something that actually fulfills tasks on the battlefield. The upgrades are significant. If you saw what it looks like from the factory, and then what we turned it into, it's a huge difference. That allows us to increase payload capacity, extend its range, and most importantly, to have a control system that still works under electronic warfare conditions with poor communication. And the top priority is operator safety, because most basic models assume the operator has to be either inside the effective zone of the vehicle or close enough, even at long distances. Our task is to move the operator so far back that, figuratively speaking, he could be sitting in Cyprus and still safely control the machine. Mostly, we're on Madagascar when spoofing is active.
Did you choose this work by yourself, or were you assigned to it? And if you chose it by yourself, why?
I used to be an APC operator, a gunner.
Is it hard to learn, or is it easy?
Basically, you just need to get used to how it handles, the steering sharpness, and always watch the road and the signal, so you don't end up driving off into a ditch or somewhere else.
If he could do magic, what would he improve about these drones like tomorrow?
Honestly, it's already working very well, especially the communication. It turned out that we can control it remotely even from here. Before, we had to go out to infantry positions and work from there. Sometimes, we had to move together with the drone right up to the front lines, especially in bad weather, snow, fog, when we had to evacuate KIA or WIA.
Like, has he evacuated people?
Yes, I've already evacuated 2 wounded remotely. After assaults, I've evacuated 3 more. Also KIA.
Що тобі запам'яталось з цього найбільш важчий моральний момент?
At the time, there was so much adrenaline, I wasn't really paying attention to the emotions. The main thing was just to do the job. Get them out of there, to at least return them to their families.
All right, so we talked about something serious. What's the funniest he's ever seen on the screen? We saw about dogs and things like that.
Yeah, we've seen dogs, cats, even cows out there. We joked with the guys that we'd help them milk the cows and have them pay us in milk, or set up a payment terminal out there for deliveries. But really, there's something positive in everything. The main thing is to be able to see it.
The mission is a success. The robots come back intact and without loot. We drive out to load the last machine onto the pickup, and we realize the street is bustling with traffic. No humans, just robots, bringing weapons and soldiers into the dark night and back.